Hey there guys, what is going on? We're of course back with another top 5 video on the channel again. We are taking a look at the 5 best guns in, of course, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is an absolute mouthful to say, but of course, top 5 best guns. These are the best guns in the game, absolutely no question. Some of my absolute favorite weapons are in this particular list here, and you pretty much already know what they are. They might just be in a little bit of a different order than we have seen previously. Just before we do get into our top 5 here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming content. We've got loads of stuff coming up with Season 1 very, very soon. I think that's next week, which is very, very exciting. So make sure you don't miss out on any of that. And let's just jump straight into number 5 on our list here. In the number 5 slot on our list, we are looking at the XM4, which is a very, very middle of the range, sort of middle of the road, very standard assault rifle in this game. I mean, there is only 5 as of making this video, but I mean, this is a very, very good one at that. It's probably the second or third best assault rifle right now, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, there is one better option. You will see it up this list a little bit further, but the XM4, with some of the attachments that we can get, including like the Microflex LED that you will have seen in some of the other gameplays floating around, it makes it look very, very much like some of the Call of Duties previously. I mean, I'm remembering like Modern Warfare's, like M4 originally, like ages and ages ago, that Modern Warfare, that M4 was very, very good and it looked very, very similar to this. And this weapon is basically, as I said, all about consistency. You get good damage, good range, good accuracy. It's pretty just a good weapon, really. There's not really much bad that you can say about this weapon. And you can kit it out to pretty much whoever you do prefer. You play style, you like to run and gun people, you like to get in people's faces, or you like to sit back, play a little bit more slowly. You can kit this gun for pretty much any situation here. If we are looking for a class setup for this particular weapon that we've got going on at the moment, you will see that we are running that Microflex LED. Basically, very much does remind me of a red dot that we have seen previously in other games, and it's just a very clear sight picture and a good place to start here. Then we move to that reinforced heavy barrel for that 100% increase to our damage range, as well as a 40% increase to our bullet velocity. Bullet velocity, a super important stat in this game, basically makes the gun feel more normal. There's kind of an issue at the moment with a lower bullet velocity in this game, in which the sort of hit detection feels a bit weird. It almost feels like you're lagging a bit when the bullets take a very long time to hit your target. So increasing your bullet velocity is always a good idea, and this barrel does help us do that. Then you look at that field agent grip for that horizontal and vertical recoil control in great amounts there. Basically makes us very, very accurate here, and you don't really need a muzzle attachment as well for that extra recoil control because this weapon is very, very accurate as it is. Then of course the airborne elastic wrap in the handle slot for that aim down sight speed of increased 30%. Very, very super powerful option here. Flinch resistance as well, meaning once we are in a gunfight and we get shot, well, we won't really flinch as much, which is super, super nice. And then you can aim while going prone, so you can drop shot people, which is super, super powerful in this game. And then, of course, the radar pad in the stock slot, meaning we can sprint around a map very, very quickly here, get those sights up nice and quickly, and our aim, walking, movement speed means it feels a lot like we have Stalker from previous games. Basically, the XM4, as we mentioned already, is just a consistent weapon, middle-of-the-road style of assault rifle that we're going with at the moment. It's one of the better weapons in the game, and as we go up this list to 4, 3, 2, and 1, we will see some better weapons than this one, but this is a good place to start here as number 5 on our list. In the 4 slot, we do have the AK-74U here, which, as we have seen from gameplays previously that we've made on this channel, you can actually kit out to be very, very similar to something like the AS Val from Modern Warfare, which is super, super cool. Basically, you just run around with a fairly fast-firing, silenced SMG-style gun that's very, very strong in this game, or you can kit this out however you do prefer. And essentially you get a decent bullet velocity. Like, that is the main draw card for the AK-74U. This is one of the most normal feeling weapons in the game with a quite high bullet velocity comparatively to some of the other SMGs in this game. I think it's like double the bullet velocity of the MP5, which is a fairly interesting stat to keep in mind when you are talking about some of the other statistics that you do look at. So the AK-74U is a great place to start here. It's a fantastic option in the SMG, and it plays a little bit like an assault rifle SMG hybrid. It's one of those options that feels very, very good to play with in this game. And it's fairly consistent as well. Decent accuracy and just pretty good stats all round. As for a class setup, we're going with some kind of sort of AS Val hybrid kind of AK-74U style thing. The sound suppressor really does actually make a difference here. I mean, we get that muzzle flash concealment, meaning we can move around the map very quickly and quietly without getting on the radar when we do shoot our gun, but also just change up the iron sight, making it look very, very similar to the AS Val. Then, of course, that VDV reinforced barrel as well. Effective damage range and bullet velocity, increasing an already fantastic statistic in our bullet velocity as well by 80%, which is super, super strong, and giving us that little bit of extra punch with that effective damage range. Then that underbarrel Spetsnaz grip as well, vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil, super important for this particular weapon as it does have a little bit of kick, but once you do have the right attachments on this weapon, it is very, very accurate, and this does help start us off here. Then in the magazine slot, we are going for the VDV 50 round fast mag. Of course, this means we do get the maximum magazine ammo capacity as well as a very, very fast reload here, but we do lose a little bit of aim down sight speed, and we counter that with the GRU elastic wrap again 30% increase to our aim down sight speed. So we gain 5% overall and have a very, very fast reload speed, maximum ammo, and as well as flinch resistance and aiming while going prone. So something like the AK-74U build that we have presented here is very familiar to some of the guns that we've seen previously, like in Black Ops, the AK-74U is one of the best guns in the game for sure. Sprinting around everywhere is no different in this game as well. You can do some serious work with this particular weapon, or you can play with a little bit of like a cross hybrid SMG style assault rifle hybrid, which is really, really powerful in this game as well. And it's a lot of fun to run around with a very high bullet velocity weapon in this game, because that is a super important statistic here. In the number 3 slot, we're going with the MP5. I mean, the number 4 and the number 3 slot on this list, you could probably interchange with each other. They're both very, very good weapons in this game, and it probably comes down to personal preference. However, I do prefer weapons with quite the high fire rate over something that is slightly slower. So the MP5 really does do it for me here. It is a very accurate, very fast firing weapon that is fantastic in this game still, even after the most recent nerfs. Like, when they did nerf this way back at the start of the game, they were like, yeah, we've made it way worse now, and it didn't actually change too much, and the gun is still fantastic. So you get good damage range, good fire rate, good mobility, good handling, like good accuracy. It's just one of those weapons that is good in this game as well, similar to the XM4 that we've talked about previously. But this weapon is really designed around sprinting everywhere, being an absolute powerhouse at close range. And if you are looking for a class setup with this particular style of weapon, we are looking for that 9.5-inch reinforced heavy barrel. This is the best option for most particular weapons. I mean, you can go with the task force, get a little bit of damage increase, but I mean, that's not super necessary. I mean, that isn't really going to increase your bullets to kill, which is actually an interesting thing to take into consideration. So for the most part, most weapons have the third barrel option, and that is typically the best depending on what weapons you're actually talking about. So of course, the heavy barrel, again, effective damage range and bullet velocity as well, increasing the lackluster statistic of this particular weapon, because the MP5 does have relatively slow bullet velocity when you do compare it to something like the AK-74U. Then you move to, again, that field agent grip. Vertical recoil control, horizontal recoil control, always super important to stay on target with these particular weapons. Then, again, that 40-round drum mag. This is interesting because we don't actually want to lose as much aim down sight speed. We want to have as much aim down sight speed and all the other good things that we do with these weapons. Then, of course, the airborne elastic wrap. We can't really go past this last handle. It's super, super powerful. Aim down sight speed, flinch resistance, and, of course, drop shotting people, which is super, super nice. And then lastly, that Raider stock for that 30% increase to our sprint to fire speed, which as an SMG class is very, very important. And as well as aim walking movement speed is also very, very important here, meaning we can move around the map, get those sights up nice and quickly. Of course, you know the MP5 is still broken in this game when everybody's still running around with like an MP5. Everybody's still sprinting around everywhere, being a little crackhead, running around with your MP5, spraying you down. It feels fantastic to run around with this gun still. The number 2 slot, my personal favorite weapon in this game is the AK-47, basically because you can make this sort of weird no recoil class setup, or actually negative recoil class setup. You might have seen this floating around recently. You can make the AK-47 in such a way where it actually has negative recoil instead of the bullets bouncing up as a normal weapon would. They actually go down, which is like stupid. And with this particular class that we're about to present here, I mean, the AK-47 is super, super accurate. I mean, it is a very, very accurate weapon and very easy to use in real life from what I have heard. Like, just basically anyone can pick it up and fire this thing from what I heard. And in Call of Duty games, it's like, oh no, it's a wild beast. It's the hardest weapon to fire in the world, and the recoil is typically ridiculous. But we are talking about that Microflex LED again, giving us a nice clear sight picture. Now, the AK iron sights are fine as they are. You can sort of avoid an optic on this particular weapon, but I like the Microflex LEDs, nice and clear, means we can shoot people very, very easily here. Then that KGB Eliminator as well. This is part of our no recoil class, so a 17% increase to our vertical recoil control, as well as that muzzle flash concealment, meaning we disappear from the minimap much faster. Super, super nice option to start with. Then again, that third option in the barrel slot, of course, that VDV reinforced, 100% increase to our damage range, as well as a 40% increase to bullet velocity. Super, super powerful option here. And again, Spetsnaz grip as well, vertical recoil control, horizontal recoil control, meaning we are very, very accurate. As we said, we are laser precise with this particular weapon. And then lastly, the GRU elastic wrap, aim down sight speed, flinch resistance, and of course, aim while going prone. Very, very powerful option in this game. No recoil class setup is absolutely hilarious. You can kit this out differently, or you can run 8 attachments if you do feel necessary, because they're all going to be fairly useful for this particular weapon. But this is what we're going with at the moment, and the AK is a very, very powerful weapon in this game. As a result, super, super accurate, really, really easy to get loads of kills with this thing. One of my favorite weapons in the game for sure. And of course, the number 1 weapon in this game, well, of course, it is 2 weapons, as you know. We can't really separate these at the moment because I haven't taken a proper in-depth look at them just yet, but the AUG and the M16, you already know these things are absolutely broken in this game. I mean, just think about it. When you do compare the time to kill of the other weapons in this game, you get like roughly about 300, 350 milliseconds is fairly standard. I think it's somewhere between those for pretty much most weapons, apart from like outliers like your snipers, shotguns, and of course these particular weapons. And then you compare them to the AUG and the M16, and you get like a time to kill if you are one bursting people, and even two bursting people is not too ridiculous. One bursting someone, getting a one burst kill is a time to kill of 150 milliseconds in this game, and that is everything you need to know about why the AUG and the M16 are broken. That's it. That's it. Like, it is basically double the time to kill, or half the time to kill rather. So it kills basically twice as fast as literally any other weapon in the game. If we are looking for a class setup for the AUG, basically this is what we're going with at the moment. We're not choosing an optic here because you do get, of course, the nice built-in scope that we can see here. It's basically a 2x optic, which is super, super nice for picking people off, which is all we're after with this particular weapon. This barrel option that we go with is just like busted. Effective damage range increased by 100%. I mean, it just means we can one burst people from like 35 plus meters away, which is absolutely stupid. If you hit every bullet, I mean, you're getting a kill. It's as simple as that, and it's so super fast, as we already talked about. 150 milliseconds for the most part is ridiculous. So field agent group again, 10% increase to our vertical recoil control, as well as a 40% increase to our horizontal recoil control. This means we are laser accurate and effective at range. Like, this thing is absolutely ridiculous. They have to be nerfing these in the Season 1 update, so make sure you take advantage of these while you can, because they're absolutely broken in this game. In the magazine slot, we do want that jungle style mag, or at least we're going with the jungle style mag for a 20% increase to our reload speed, which is of course a super nice benefit without losing any of the other bonuses that we do get from some of the other attachments that we can choose here. And then of course the airborne elastic wrap in the handle slot, aim down sight speeds, flinch resistance, and aim while going prone, of course, and then the Raider pad, sprint fire speed, aim walking, movement speed. I mean, these classes that you're going to see here are very, very similar to each other for the AUG and the M16. Let's talk about the M16 now. Very, very similar, as we said, of course. We are taking an optic on this bad boy because the iron sights are not something that I prefer, and we want a nice, clean sight picture. But of course, if you don't like the sight on this thing, you can maybe take like a SUSAT multi-zoom. This is probably the best option to go with if you are sort of fighting at those medium to long distances. Then again, that match grade barrel, 100% increase to our effective damage range is absolutely ridiculous. One bursting people from across the map. Under barrel again, 40% increase horizontal recoil, 10% vertical recoil. Stupid option again. Handle, same as we presented previously, and literally every other single weapon on this game. Aim down sight speed, flinch resistance, and of course aim while going prone. Being able to drop shot people with this thing is absolutely filthy. And then Raider pad as well for the sprint to fire speed and aim walking movement speed. As we have talked about previously in a number of videos on the channel recently, like, the M16 is just too strong. It's simple as that, really. Like, that is one of the major flaws of this game at the moment. Basically, there's just a weapon that kills twice as fast as every other weapon, and it's like, how's that allowed to exist? Like, some people don't prefer burst weapons. When they do kill this quickly, you can pretty much get away with running them all the time because they're just so super strong. Anyway, guys, hopefully they are looking to nerf the AUG and the M16. I'm still not sure which one is better, but in my opinion, they are very, very close to one another, and it's sort of a bit of a toss-up at the moment. Let me know which you do prefer. I know some of you guys in the comments had told me which you do prefer. Some of you prefer the AUG. I prefer the M16. It is what it is. We'll talk about it in the comments. Make sure you leave a like and do subscribe if you are new around here, of course. If you have not already done so, I do very much appreciate it, and it does very much help me out. And of course, I will see you very soon in some of the exciting Season 1 content that is coming next week. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!